Hello, and welcome to this postgraduate certificate in Learning and Teaching. My name's Claire Moscrop, and I'm the Programme Leader for the PGCLT programme. This is a wholly online programme focusing on enhancing learning and teaching delivery at BPP through evidence of and reflection on your learning and teaching practice. This programme combines theory and practice with a reflective and scholarly approach. It's based on your individual teaching and is suitable for all staff in learning and teaching capacity, regardless of your experience or role. You'll be exposed to a range of learning, teaching and assessment models and theories throughout your studies, which help frame, contextualise and enhance your practice as an educator. In addition, through completion of the programme, you'll generate the necessary evidence to obtain Associate Fellowship and then Fellowship of the Higher Education Academy, now called Advanced HE. Each module is split into 10 weekly units, facilitated by colleagues from a range of disciplines across BPP, which comprise of readings, collaborative discussions, and weekly asynchronous recorded sessions on the unit topic. The collaborative discussions play an important part of the learning journey and are key to developing and extending your personal learning network on the programme. It's important to note that the asynchronous nature of the modules means you can engage with the resources, recordings and discussions at any time, basically at a time that suits you each week. I'll give you some background on me and how I came to be the programme lead for your PGCLT course. I've been with BPP since May 2019, so not long, and I was recruited specifically to run the PGCLT, the Headway scheme and other aspects related to staff learning and teaching CPD. I've been in higher education for 18 years. For the first 15 years, I was teaching on computing degrees and computer science degrees, both undergraduate and postgraduate, as a lecturer, then senior lecturer, and then finally as a programme leader. I then moved into a learning teaching specialist role in my previous university, where I ran their PGCLT for 3 years, alongside running institutional learning and teaching projects. I gained my own PGCLT a number of years ago, and I also gained fellowship alongside that. 4 years ago, I was successful in applying for senior fellowship, and recently was awarded Principal Fellowship of the HEA. Other members of the team teaching on the course are Joel Mills, who's a Senior Fellow of the HEA, and Dr. Peter Alston. Joel and Pete will introduce themselves when they record their first sessions. In addition to our team, we also invite experts from across the university to deliver sessions, from schools and also from support services such as Quality. Finally, it's important to note the diversity of the student body on the course. It's good that you all understand the varying perspectives of your cohort and who you'll be interacting with as part of the discussions. As well as representatives from all 3 schools, we also have staff from the apprenticeships, PQ, freelance staff, and staff from varying support departments such as Education Services, Careers and the Library, and so on. I'm sure you'll learn just as much from each other as you will from us. A major value of the PGCLT is your discussion with your peers, so please do engage with the discussion topics each week. Here at BPP, the PGCLT programme is split into 2 30-credit modules. Module A, Learning and Teaching and Practice, and Module B, Enhancing Learning through Programme Assessment and Design. Successful completion of Module A will lead to Associate Fellow status, that's Associate Fellowship of the HEA, whilst completion of both Modules A and B will lead to Fellowship of the HEA. Module A highlights the importance of your role as a reflective practitioner, examines how students learn in a variety of settings, and explores how technology can be used to support and enhance your teaching, learning and assessment practices. Module B extends on this by examining the importance of curriculum design, assessment design, and effective feedback as part of a successful programme of study. In doing this, you'll consider the role of regulatory bodies such as the Quality Assurance Agency, the QAA, and Ofsted, and how these impact on your practice as an educator. The first module is Module A, which has the code EDU7107. As we stated before, it highlights the importance of your role as a teaching practitioner and examines how students learn in a variety of settings. It'll also ask you to reflect on your own approach to teaching in your context. An important thing to note is that the PGCLT is not a prescription. What I mean by this is we're not giving you a tick list on how to teach in an effort to make you all the same. This is the last thing we want to do. We understand how you teach is not led only by what you teach, but also the medium via which you teach, for example, face-to-face, online, or through blended methods, and also importantly, who you are personally, your personality. All of these elements will determine the methods you choose to use to enhance your teaching practice. As such, our job is to provide you with the tools, knowledge, and space to reflect on your practice and identity where it can be enhanced. I feel the key to success and rich experience on the PGCLT comes down to collective sharing of experiences with your peers on the course. So please do take the time to take part in the discussions each week. On that note, I'd like you now to hop onto the Microsoft Teams discussion area that you've been added to and answer this discussion task 1, which is in the induction week discussion questions area. Please pause and come back when you're done. We're aware that we have a mix of students on the PGCLT. There are those of you who have chosen to do the course and those of you being told that you must do the course. Sometimes completion of the PGCLT is actually part of people's probation requirements. As such, I think it's important to state why doing the PGCLT matters, not just for the university, but also for yourself and your students. Firstly, it's important for the university that the percentage of staff with a recognised teaching qualification is as high as it can be. Teaching quality is measured externally through things such as NSS, but the university also has to report the percentage of staff with teaching qualifications, which impacts on things such as HESA returns, TEF outcomes, and so on. For the students, it comes down to their expectations of the staff who's teaching them. They'll often expect that those staff will have recognised teaching qualifications alongside their subject expertise. You could also argue that they deserve to have tutors who've taken the time to deeply reflect on their teaching practice and have gained recognition through a qualification and fellowship of the HEA. Finally, it's good to know why the PGCLT is also of value to you, very important. As well as a recognised postgraduate teaching qualification, you also gain fellowship of the HEA through the course. Both of these aspects are now standard on job specifications for teaching jobs in higher education, so they're an excellent addition to your CV. As well as these employability aspects, some work I did recently showed further value of the PGCLT to individuals. Let's have a look at some of these. I was part of an evaluation project a little while ago with 4 universities from around the country. We asked staff who completed the PGCLT equivalents within the universities within the last 3 years what value the PGCLT courses had on them personally. When themed, these came out as, firstly, confidence. This is a clear aspect that came across in the narratives from staff. They stated that gaining the PGCLT gave them additional or new confidence on things such as their teaching approach, methods, and being able to defend methods that they choose to use. This then linked clearly to the development of teaching skills, which included the learning of new skills such as teaching methods, planning, organisational skills, adaptability, classroom management, and so on. Increased motivation was another clear perceived value of the PGCLT. They felt their new knowledge motivated them to try new things as a teacher or lecturer, and they were also motivated by the positive impact on their career prospects. The fourth value element was the value of learning with and from colleagues from across the university. It's important that you engage with the discussion topics to ensure that you benefit from this during your PGCLT. The final element here is that staff felt they learned a lot in regards to how to design and manage assessments, including learning about how things such as constructive alignment work. These were just the top 5 and there were others, but I thought it useful to share these with you to show where others have found value in completing a PGCLT course. The assessment for your first module is described in the module handbook. In addition, a video assessment guide, which is available on Moodle, describes each part of the assessment in detail. These are both available within the induction week on Moodle. You may already be aware that in order to gain fellowship of the HEA, you must be observed teaching. The HEA calls this authenticating practice, which simply means proving that you're doing some teaching and are supporting learning. You must be observed by what they call an expert peer. In this case, this will be your mentor or anyone else who has a teaching qualification or fellowship at the HEA. We have a university observation template, which can be found on the general PGCLT page, which is linked to from the modules. You may also use your standard school template if you wish. You must submit your observation document as part of your appendices in your final portfolio submission. You'll have personal academic tutor, referred to as your PAT, and a mentor on the PGCLT. PATs will be your personal contact regarding questions about your modules and your assessments. Some schools have allocated PATs within the schools. Others will have Ed Services learning teaching staff as PATs. Mentors are different to PATs in that they are within your schools and likely to carry out your observations and will be on hand to answer general questions regarding learning and teaching. However, those with a PAT within the school may have a mentor as the same person. We'll release a list of PATs and mentors as soon as possible. This will be added to Moodle. Let's kick off now with a bit of personal reflection and some initial reflection questions. Consider and write answers to the following questions. Firstly, do you already reflect on your teaching or training sessions? If so, how? And if not, why not? What stops you doing it? Secondly, how do you assess if a teaching session was successful or went well? If you don't do this, how do you ensure that you don't make the same mistakes in the following iterations of that session? Thirdly, are you already aware of some aspects of your practice that you'd like to improve? What are these? Next, what are your strengths as a teacher or lecturer? And finally, what things do you think have influenced your teaching practice? Why do you teach as you do? We suggest at least 250 words of written reflection each week, and this week's can be around these reflection questions. You may wish to share your reflections with your personal tutor, mentor or peers to aid discussion if you wish, but you'll not be expected to submit them as part of your coursework. You'll just save these to your personal documentation and draw on these for reflections in your final submissions. If you have any questions at any point, please add them to the discussion area. If you have personal questions you'd like to add, please email pgclt@bpp.com. For a quicker response, you might want to copy me in using clairemosscrop@bpp.com. Thanks for listening and welcome again to the PGCLT.